On this episode 36 of the Ask Mario show, we're going to talk a little bit about stretching. So the question of the day came in from Alexandra, and Alexandra is wondering, hey Mario, I love the show, thanks for the videos. I have another question. What kind of stretching do you do and how often? I have really poor flexibility right now and is limiting me at the gym sometimes. Any tips for getting flexible fast? Thank you, Alexandra. Pretty good question. I think stretching and flexibility is definitely one of those issues where kind of the science and the application are in conflict, right? A lot of the coaches you will read on the internet, they will write down stretching is not even important. You should maybe stretch a little bit after the workout. And mobility and flexibility, I mean, in terms of just the internet, some people will say it's super important, some people will say it's not important at all. I guess from the practical application, just looking at the weightlifters, the Olympic weightlifters, and for example, if you look at the Russian strength training books and manuals from the 80s and the 90s, they put a lot of emphasis on the stretching and getting the mobility and all of that. I think it's extremely important to, I guess, to acknowledge the benefits of mobility. Right, mobility is key, and if mobility is preventing you from doing certain lifts like the squat, like the deadlift, if you just can't bend down to lift the bar with your back being neutral and straight, I mean, how are you going to complete the lift, right? I think it's very, very important. Well, here's some of the things I've done myself, and here's some of the things I recommend for my clients, right? There's actually a really cool article written about this by Brett Contreras. He said these are the 5 things you should do every day. I'm going to link the article below the video so you guys can check that out. And he actually mentioned a little bit of glute stretching, getting into that deep squat position every day. But here's some of the stuff I do and that I've taken from, I guess, from guys like him and other guys that are researchers and guys who are into this really, really deep. So the things I do every day is I do stretching before I go to bed. That's kind of my go to bed ritual where I use stretching as a form of relaxation. And while I'm stretching before bed, I'm gonna also do breathing exercises, right? That's how I know how long my stretch will be. So I'll be breathing in 3 seconds. I'm gonna be like 1 second pause and 5 seconds breathe out. That's gonna be I'm gonna do 2 of these while holding a stretch. So that's simply, I'm gonna do that for my chest because my chest is very, very tight. My shoulders are always tight from doing these pressing movements, and because I'm a little bit internally rotated just because I guess my chest is overpowering my shoulders, also overpowering my external rotation muscles. As far as the squat position, the deadlift position, what I do is I just sit in a deep squat position for about a minute or half a minute. You can also, I think you find this on the internet by the other name called paleo chair. Some people call it like that. But I simply sit in that squat position, and if you can't sit in the squat position, I recommend holding onto a chair and trying to really go as deep as you can and just hold it for there. And eventually, as you upgrade a little bit, you can move toward pushing the knees out with your elbows. That helps a lot as well. I mean, this is kind of my pre-bed ritual, so this is not very high intensity, right? You need to, this is just a simple routine that I have for myself just to get me relaxed. Combine that with the breathing exercise, I just go to bed like really relaxed and I can get some good night's sleep. As far as mobility in general, I do recommend doing some of these stretches before workout. If you can't get into a deep squat position or if you can't do the deadlifts, I recommend doing some stretching like this before workout, but do not hold the stretch longer than 25 to 30 seconds because there is some research pointing out that if you hold the static stretch for too long, you might have reduced power and strength during your training. So that's something that you need to take into consideration. I guess that is one of the scientific aspects that I've, I guess, researched a little bit and just implemented that way. And to be honest, like a 20-second stretch is enough. If you just do it a few times, should be fine. And also some dynamic work, like just doing some walking lunges, just going deep in there, just to expand those hips, open up those hips before you actually do your squats. I think is the best way. The thing with stretching and mobility, you need to understand that this is not a problem that's just gonna go away, right? This is something you need to continuously hammer on every single day, right? Before I got mobility enough to go really deep in my squat, I mean, even now, I'm still doing it every day, and I used to do it every day because there's not a way to fix it, right? You can't expect like a 2-3 minute stretch a day to completely fix your mobility issues and sitting down all day at the computer playing playing videos or whatever you're doing at the computer working, like myself, for example, I spend a lot of time just sitting down. I need to contrast this by doing these stretches before bed, and I do it every single night. I don't skip a single night of stretching, and that's the only way to keep myself mobile enough. When I hit the gym the next day, I feel like I'm good and I'm mobile, and it really helps me a lot. As far as that, I think that should be basically the key points. I'm going to link the article below that I just mentioned. Essentially, make your own ritual, do something that you can do every single day. That will kind of compound, using the compound effect. If you compound it to a big change, fix your issues. And I hope this helps. And I want to thank Alexander for a really good question. Stretching, flexibility, mobility, definitely important training if you can't hit those good forms and good techniques on your main lifts. Besides that, if you have a question for the Ask Mario show, definitely leave it below using a hashtag AskMario. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like on the damn video and show some support for the channel by clicking the subscribe button. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.